vandaag naar Sa'at. Sa'at is een kibboets aan de grens van Gaza. We helpen daar heel veel kinderen die getraumatiseerd zijn.
My name is Ronit Bart. I'm a teacher. I teach English here at the school. I teach the older grades. We are 3 kilometers away from the border, aerial kilometers, which is very close. We have 410 students here at the school from 1st to 9th grade, and sometimes it's easier, sometimes it's not. Our kids have been under attack for the past 18 years, pretty much. And here at the school we try to help and also we try to make the kids strong before the attacks. We try to make them strong and able to cope with the situation so that when and if there's a war, when and if there's another attack, they will be able to handle it, they will come out of it relatively healthy. Let me go back, and I'll start by talking about what we do before the rockets, because we know that we are in a dangerous area. Our kids from a very early age, we take preventive measures. They have lessons that teach them how to handle a stressful situation. Things like singing songs and making sure that they're safe, and also finding a safe place within their bodies, finding a safe place to help them cope. That's at a young age. And later on, with the help of a lot of friends that we have from all over the world, especially our Dutch friends, we try to use as many therapies as possible, therapies suited to the needs of the children. What we see here are kids who, they're already not young, but they are sometimes afraid to go to the bathroom by themselves. They need their parents by them all the time. They don't want to leave the house. A lot of kids feel ill. They complain about different aches and pains in their bodies. A lot of kids are simply afraid to leave the house. They are definitely unable to cope with learning. If they have tests or if they have any other stressful things that they have to do, they find it very hard to cope. So we try to handle it as best we can. We understand, we know what it is, because we all feel it with ourselves. We all feel it with our kids, so we know how they feel. So we try to make things easier for them. Try to give them a lot of hours in which they get therapy. We try to find ways to make life a little simpler, a little nicer for them.
How do you, when there is coming a rocket, how do you handle that?
Our school is quite new, and it's a safe school. It's considered a safe school.
What is a safe school?
A safe school has safe areas, small safe rooms scattered all around the yard because we only have between 5 to 9 seconds to run to a shelter. We don't have the luxury of a minute. We have 5 to 9 seconds. So first of all, we have a lot of shelters scattered in the area. All the buildings that the children study in are safe buildings. So they know that, and they are instructed, if there is a siren or if we hear rockets falling, they either run to a shelter if there's one within running distance. If not, it sounds stupid, but they have to drop to the ground and put their hands over their head to protect their head so that at least the head isn't hurt. But we try to get them into the buildings where they are safe.
This is dus also a shelter?
It's a shelter. These are special vents that allow only filtered air to come in.
Oh, this
There and over there and over there. And the
Okay.
windows are very, very heavy-duty windows.
Okay.
In the open, we have
Oh yeah, it's iron. Iron walls. And those plates
are for filtered air.
filtered air for chemical attacks.
Chemical and biological, at least that's what they say.
Okay. Okay.
And there's things that we do. We play games, we talk about their feelings. There's a circle of sharing that we do. And we try to stick to routines so that they know that after an attack, there's certain things that we do to keep them safe. The older kids have a job. Giving kids a job, a responsibility also helps them cope. So they have a responsibility after the attack is over to go to the younger kids, find out if there are any kids who need more help than what the teacher can give at the time. They make sure there are no kids in the shelters outside in the yard. We turn them into adults. They turn into adults here very fast because they have to. That's what we do. And then the teachers will pass on if there's kids who are experiencing severe problems, then the teachers will pass on their names to our social workers or our psychologists, whoever is here, and these kids will be taken for treatment, for immediate treatment. It's something that needs to be done right away. And the rest of the kids, we try to keep things as light as possible, but they have a support system here. The parents immediately are notified. We tell the parents not to come, because if parents take them home, then that means they don't get treatment right away. We try to keep them here so that they're taken care of. That's how we handle it.
You live here around?
Yes, I live in the Kibboets. I live 5 minutes away. I've raised all my children here. I have 4 children. Most of them have reacted very well to the situation, although they've...
Do they have traumas?
Yes, I'll start by talking about my oldest daughter, who is fine, took it fine, but I think it really gets to your heart. You feel how abnormal the situation is when my oldest daughter was about 7 or 8, and my younger daughter was a baby in the crib. She was coming home. I was standing in the doorway watching out for them, and she was coming with my younger daughter in the crib, in the stroller. And as they were walking home, a siren started, and they were not within running distance. So this 7-year-old child stood with her body over the baby, 7-year-old child, protecting a baby in a stroller, because she knew that she had to protect the baby. She wasn't thinking about herself, she was thinking about the baby that needed taking care of. That tore my heart out. Not enough to move, because I think that it's not safe in many places around the country, and this is my home. But most of my kids have taken it well. My youngest, however, is considered traumatic, has post-trauma. He's a very sensitive child, and so for a while he was taking antidepressants because we went to a psychiatrist after seeing a child who says at the age of 7 or 8, who says, "What's the point in living?" or "My life is worth nothing." That tears your heart. So at that point we realized something was seriously wrong and he needed treatment, and the regular things weren't working. So we started, for a while we worked with antidepressants. After a while we decided to stop with the antidepressants because it seemed like he was getting along, although things had been unsafe in the area for a long time. But we were giving him tools. He was getting all different types of therapies, and he seems to be getting along better. It's heart-wrenching to see, because when an attack starts, he immediately runs to the shelter. He usually doesn't leave the shelter at all. He lives in the shelter. That's his room. His bed is in the shelter. He sits on his bed. His body is frozen. His body language is rigid. Sits on it. He doesn't want to eat. He doesn't want to drink. He sits there. He usually doesn't leave. The dog sometimes helps him. We try to help him. It's heartbreaking. Not easy. Not easy at all. But we cope.
Do you need help from Yad Lami for your son?
First of all, again, I have to say that Yad Lami has been giving us a lot of help. We get wonderful things like dog training therapy, which is, I think, unique to our area and is very helpful with kids. Horseback riding is amazing. Therapeutic art is also very helpful. All the stuff that goes on in the therapeutic children's zoo is valuable. The use of exercising and get to know your body and work out, that also is amazing. He's been using that for a while. As I've said, he started taking medication a couple of years back, antidepressants, which helped him. But at some point he decided that he doesn't want to take them anymore. They made him feel some of these symptoms were not getting better. So he decided to stop, and I supported him because the fact that he was then 11, that an 11-year-old was taking antidepressants didn't make me feel good about myself as a mother. So we stopped, and 4 or 5 days ago, when was this? Yes, last Thursday, we went back to our psychiatrist for our regular, half-year treatment or assessment, and she checked him out and she said, "I really think you need to go back to the medication because he still has sometimes uncontrollable rage. He gets frustrated very fast, whether it's because of schoolwork or because of his basketball practice or whatever it is. Gets frustrated really fast, and then he gets himself into works up a rage that's really scary to see." And she said, "I really think you need to take the medication for a little while longer." So I'm at that stage right now, debating whether he should or he shouldn't, with him, of course. He's 13 now, almost. What kind of help do I need from Yad Lami? Just the therapies are amazing because medication can't function without therapy. It doesn't work. You don't just take the medication and become healed. He needs the strength that comes from working on it in different ways. He loves animals, so animals is definitely the thing for him. I think that maybe we should start, maybe horseback riding would be beneficial to him. I hope I'm doing the right thing. I don't know. I think every family here has stories like this. Over the last war has been extremely difficult, like really, really bad. My daughter studies somewhere else. She has a bus that brings her home, and during the last attack, they were on their way over. They were on their way back home. They were on the bus, and then the sirens started sounding. 26 girls, young girls, on a bus. The bus driver, I'm not sure if he had lost it and didn't know what to do, or he just didn't want to take them off the bus, which is what you're supposed to do. You're supposed to get all the passengers off the bus, but of course you don't have enough time. Take all the passengers off the bus, tell them to lie on the road and put their hands on their head. And I'm guessing he thought it would be wiser to keep on driving. The girls were yelling and they were scared. And the bus driver wouldn't stop until he reached one of the kibbutzim in the area. He told them to get off the bus, and they got off the bus straight into a shelter that was right outside the kibbutz. They went into the shelter, and they sat there for a better part of an hour until somebody could come get them, because nobody could come get them, because we were under constant attack. There were over 400 rockets, and the sirens kept coming. So they were there for quite a while. Immediately they called the parents, and we were worried. At the time, I was with my youngest son at home, but I'm in charge of a group of lone soldiers.
Shalom.
Здравствуйте.
Bonjour tout le monde. Hi.
Hola. Oi.
Namaste.
Guten Tag.
Errands Day for Lone Soldiers is very important. Usually we get an Errands Day once a month. Amazing, incredible opportunity to kind of get everything done that we need.
So for me, this Yom Sidurim is basically a chance to fully immerse myself in Israeli culture. We have a whole team of people that are here to help you out, figure it out, get your license, work out your benefits, so it's super useful.
I'm from Memphis, Tennessee, and something we take very seriously is hospitality. It's bringing people in and making them feel at home.
At home, I can go home to my family, to my parents, and if I had something that I need to deal with, like an errand, then my parents would help me, or my parents would even do it for me. Here, I don't have that support, so the FIDF definitely steps up and takes care of that.
I'm using this day in order to do all my mandatory arrangements, and this is the only time I have. As a lone soldier, I can totally feel the support we've got from the FIDF community.
You literally have saved me so much time and given me the opportunity to do things that I didn't even know I was able to do. You know that there are people who are appreciating everything you're doing, and I just would like to say I appreciate what you guys are doing for us.
It's a very special day. There are 1,500 lone soldiers that came to this day. I want to say thank you for Nefesh B'Nefesh and the friends of the IDF. Without them, we couldn't do this day.
But I'm in charge of a group of lone soldiers, and at the same time I had 2 lone soldiers who were in Netivot, walking, doing their shopping. So I had to make sure that they were safe because this was their first time. I had another soldier who was on his way over from Tel Aviv. He was on a bus in the Ashkelon area. I had to take care of him. The roads were blocked. Nobody could bring them home because they were stuck in Netivot in the street. I had to tell them to get into a bank. And it's crazy. It's crazy. It's not fun. And you'll hear stories. I think every family has stories of people who were on their way to a birthday party here in the Meshek Yeladim at the Children's Petting Zoo. They were on their way when the rocket sounded. This was a woman with a young baby. And she had to run with the baby. The sirens are very loud. She had to run with the baby, find a shelter to go into. Nobody knew where she was. Her cell phone wasn't working. And, you know, nobody knew if she was lying in a ditch somewhere. And
it's very emotional, but how do you handle your emotions?
I keep busy. That always helps. I talk a lot. I'm a talker, so I don't mind, you know, talking to people about how I feel. I also, again, since this last attack was brutal, and I felt, as a teacher and as a mother, that going back to school right after an attack like that had its merits, because again, we could take care of kids, but we were shattered. Me, myself, as a mother and as a teacher, I was shattered. I couldn't collect myself long enough to take care of other kids and to, you know, take care of exams and learning the material and doing whatever I was asked to do. And I wrote a letter that I shared with my fellow teachers, and I know that it went to other. I talk. That's what I do. I talk. If needed, there's always counselors. There's always psychologists, and they help us. I know that I'm not myself. I am not who I was 6-7 days ago. Not the same person. I was just. There was a group from Holland a couple of days ago. They came here to bring Legos to our school to help the children while they were in the buildings, unable to come out because of attacks. They have to stay in the building. So they brought in boxes of Legos, which was beautiful, something for the kids to do. And we were talking, and I said, you know, us, the teachers, after an attack, we go back to work and we help the kids. And we do what needs to be done. And after last week, I said to myself, you know what? Not true. Not true. We're also broken. We're also scratched. In Hebrew, there's a word, scratched. Everybody who lives in the area is scratched, has a scratch. We are scared of loud noises. Every helicopter that sounds in the sky, we immediately tense up and think, okay, what's happening now? What don't we know? What are we supposed to know? What's happening? Is anything bad supposed to happen? So everybody finds their own mechanism of coping. I think mine is talking. Doesn't solve everything, but...
It's strange, but what's your dream?
Wow. Unable to dream right now. Okay, dream small. My dream is very small. Right now, I wish from my son, my own son, I know that it's impossible to heal. You don't heal from PTSD really. But I'd like him to have an easier life. That's my small dream. I do have a bigger dream. I still dream. I'm still a little optimistic, although I'm still optimistic that my government will understand that so long as we don't find a solution, a real solution, and war is not a solution in my opinion, but that's just me. Unless we find a solution and solve this problem in depth, this is going to continue going on, and it can't go on like this.
It's too long.
Way too long for anyone to live like this. I mean, wars, even the long wars, take, World War I, World War II, 6, 7 years, but 18 years of this is a little too much.
It's still a wonder to survive 18 years.
we're strong. We are strong. We get a lot of tools. We get a lot of help. We have a lot of people who help us and who love us. Ria, with her organization, give us a lot of help.
Yad Lami?
Yad Lami. They help us with therapies. They help us with love and prayers. So that helps a lot. I think that's probably one of the biggest types of help that we can get. We also have our belief that Hashem, God, is with us. And there's a lot of things that we do as a community that help us feel strong. There's a lot of community projects, whether it's the young girls that Yad Lami is also involved with and helps out. We help 50 young girls who cannot live at home and have come from very difficult backgrounds. The Kibboets helps them out, and that's meaningful, and I think it gives us as humans, as Jews, as people who live in this specific area, it gives us strength to know that we're helping others and that we're not just onto ourselves. So that's a major part, and we're a strong community. We talk. If there are problems, we raise them. And again, we feel we get a lot of love. We get a lot of love from people all around the world, and that's also meaningful.
Can you please give us a message to our viewers in Holland and Europe? As a mother, as a teacher?
First of all, thank you, because without your help, I think it would be much, much harder for us. I think you give us hope. You not only give the money for therapy, which is much needed, but you give us hope with, we know you care. We know you care, and I think that's a major part of healing, of being able to stay strong and keep fighting. I don't know if fighting is the right word. We feel that we are united. We feel that we are together in this, and when you're not alone, that you know you're stronger. So Yad Lami is very helpful. So thank you very much. Don't believe everything you see in the news. Things are not the way they seem sometimes. I think most people who live here and who study and work here don't want war.